Sure.
All right. So instead of the walk-up music and that, and what you want to be, instead, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done?
Wow. Heck of a way to start. What's the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life?
Everybody will get that question. Oh, man. I'm assuming you've peaked. But,
like that day?
That I have yet to accomplish my dumbest thing ever. Man. Well, I mean, back in college, I got stuck with a group of guys that was climbing up on top of the Lafayette Mall. So around 2 o'clock in the morning, I ran around on top of the mall. So that was fun. Climbed up a drain pipe on the back. I mean, it was a blast. It was really interesting, and somehow we managed to not get caught by the mall security that was driving around. But yeah, that was fun.
Good answer.
Back at Purdue, man. That was great. All right, hi, my name is David Van Diemen. I run Van Diemen Photography, but an interesting conversation over the weekend was mentioned that more and more I might need to change my niche to branding. Person came up and said, you're becoming a brand expert, and I consider myself really a student of branding more than an expert. There are many people who know a whole lot more about it, but we'll talk about this more later. I love learning and sharing what I learn along the way. So right now I call myself the brand Visioneer because I love helping other small businesses figure out their brand messaging and identity and share that with the world. So obligatory family photos we go through here in BNI. I have an amazing wife and a spunky, crazy, psychotic little 10-year-old girl who is following in her mother's footsteps and taking part in roller derby. And then I also have 3 psychotic felines. And I blame that all on roller derby. So for those of you who know me and know the story, it's a lot of fun background. Caleb, if you would like to find out more about why roller derby led to all of this that I do, I would be more than happy to inform you. But really my point today is, what is branding?
Love those.
What? You asking us?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Oh, okay.
I read page 10 of your book.
Yeah.
Does that matter?
So what did he say? Logos?
It's logos, but
Yeah.
it's more than that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See, that's the fun thing. The most common thing people think is if I get a great logo and a good headshot and a couple other photos and some colors and put them up on a website, I have a brand. It's it's more than that. And I'll go so far to even say that your logo doesn't matter.
Ouch.
Ooh. That's intense. I'll even say
Good.
I'll even say that hang on, stick with me here. I'm even going to say your headshot doesn't matter. I'm a headshot photographer. That's what I do. Case in point. You might think, David, that just disproved your point. That logo matters. Everybody knows what that is. Well, maybe. Stick with me. What if instead, when Nike was doing their branding, instead of adopting a swoosh, they went with a swipe? Would that have changed anything? Now, think back 20 decades, whatever, however long it's been, Nike going through with a swipe and saying, just do it. Swoosh never happened. This is their logo. Do you think it would have changed anything?
Probably not.
Thank you. It wouldn't matter. Michael Jordan mattered to Nike, absolutely. But the logo didn't matter. It was the message behind it. This is their message. What are they selling? Are they selling shoes here?
Selling you.
No, they're selling you can be great. Has nothing to do with what they make. It's all about why they make it. Yes, Michael Jordan matters. Occasionally, they actually had a photo of a shoe and say, hey, we've got shoes. But most of their messaging is all about, you can be an athlete. You can be great. Doesn't matter who you are, even at a month old. You could be great. See, Nike isn't marketing what they do or sell. They're marketing why. right? Their messaging is all about that aspirational thing. People put these things in cases in their basement, collect them. I shit you not, we have kids walking in school like penguins because they got new Air Jordans for Christmas and they don't want to get creases in the leather. Right?
Yes.
Have we lost our minds?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's the power of branding. So another little thought experiment, go back to this. Imagine Nike never happened. That company does not exist.
Adidas does.
Well, so I just happen to be an aspiring young shoe designer, and I love this little swipe logo, so I'm going to use that. And I'm going to make a shoe line that we use the best natural leather and rubber that's all American made, and it's top of the end stuff. It's really high quality, right? I'm going to call it Nuke because my shoes are the bomb.
Yeah.
Right? And because my family's German, I'm going to be cute and put an umlaut on the U. Nuke shoes. And I heard somewhere along the way that a 3 word slogan is really, really powerful for branding. So I'm going to say we just great shoes. That's what we do. You think this is going anywhere?
Probably not.
I don't know who's wearing them.
Well, so to my point, I'm a big nerd. I love vintage comics. I'm going to strike up a branding deal with the Jetsons and have a little icon of George Jetson on the back of my shoe and call it Nuke Air Jetsons. That's my shoe. But I make just great shoes. So ultimately, skipped ahead a little bit here real quick, but that company might have some success, but they're never going to have people putting cases of Nuke Air Jetsons in their basement. Right. If all I do is make great shoes, I'm competing with every other company that just makes great shoes. And there's lots of them. Now Nike, do they sell or have their messaging set up that way just for fun? Is it just a by chance thing, do you think? Absolutely not. They do it because they know that by tying their products to your aspirations, they might be able to convince you that their shoes will help you run a marathon, or at the very least, run to the grocery during halftime with a purpose. Right? All right, so branding is not about how you look, but about how you make people feel. It's how you build your reputation strategically over time to communicate value. That's kind of my little, in a nutshell, definition of what branding really is. So what is brand visioneering? This whole thing that I've built is my process for helping other small businesses brand what they do. It starts with clarity. Now you got a little card on the table, and I sent everybody who was a member a copy of this. I wrote an eBook that is this first little segment of the entire brand visioneering process. It goes on with visualization, alignment, action. That's all the stuff afterward that helps you really build that into a consistent, strong brand. But this, the Brand Clarity Blueprint, is my new ebook, where it goes through and helps you define your core values, develop a unique value proposition, and understand your why. That messaging that is the more powerful version of branding rather than talking about what it is you do. For me, when I went through this process myself last year, and this is how I built this entire thing, was by going through it myself and understanding how it works. My core values are creativity, compassion, and learning. I mentioned earlier when we started, I love learning. And I love sharing what I do along the way, what I learn along the way with others. My unique value proposition is that I help people see their future selves, their personal brands, and to step into that vision. That's what brand visioneering really does. And I believe that every person, this is my why, I believe that every person is a beautiful, powerful, and unique individual. I believe that small businesses have the power to change the world. And through what I do, if I can help just one business have a better impact, a bigger impact, and make a difference in the world, then I've made a difference in the world. So with that, everyone has a brand, whether you know it or not. Taking the time to build your brand with intention and clarity, that's what sets you apart from the crowd. Any questions?
Can you speak to a little bit of what your process is so in addition to reading the ebook,
Yeah.
what's the next step for someone? And then how does that change if somebody's like a brand new business
Sure.
or if they've already have an established, logo, quote unquote brand presence?
Yeah, really, that's a fun conversation, and it would start with just having that conversation, finding out where they're at and what their goals are. That ebook really dives into that first segment, understanding core values and your why. Because, like I said earlier, a lot of people think, I've got a great logo and I've got a good headshot and I've got some colors, I have a brand, but they don't really have a clear idea of what it is they want to talk about. They might say, yeah, I make shoes. So what? There's a lot of people that make shoes. They're not going to get any traction. And that's been the fun part. I don't know if anybody has been paying attention to me. I figured all this stuff out for myself late last year, and I've been putting out a whole lot of video content. Before I really knew what my why was, that's hard to say, what my why was, I had no idea what to talk about. Like, yeah, I do headshots. So what? Lots of people do headshots, but I have my way of doing it. And my reason for doing it is because I want to help make an impact. I don't know if that really directly answers your question, but more or less, it's all about having a conversation, figuring out what their goals really are and where they're already at.
Read the book, have a conversation.
And the book has a QR code in the back that is a Zoom call with me, so it's absolutely that process.
Read the book, follow the instructions at the end of the book.
And I gave you all this card, so as you're out there, if anybody's like, I don't know what I want to talk about or how to really build a consistent message in my brand or any of that kind of conversation, that QR code will go to the landing page. The book is only $7. I made it that way because I want to have a little bit of an investment on their part so they'll actually read it, because you give somebody something for free and it just goes and sits on their desk or sits in their inbox or whatever and never gets opened. So.
I really have read to page 10. But with that, it's like a journal. So it's not like a full-on book. I mean, there's some self-reflection. You answer these questions. So like when you're like, what do you do with it? It's not just a read. I mean, it's a journal where you're really self-reflecting. And I think one of the things that stood out to me in the first little bit, which is very well written, by the way.
Thank you.
But I noticed that I think the word was you thought that your purpose because of something like with integrity, and then you realized it was actually more compassion.
Yeah.
Right? Is that did I do it right? And I really think when it got me thinking of our purpose, and so just the 10 pages did make me start reflecting. So if you haven't taken time, I would definitely recommend, at least 10 pages in, I was like, I think I really need to actually sit down and figure this out.